My pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Martin Majkut, who is in his 16th year as music conductor for the Rogue Valley Symphony. Now, that's worth that's worth a clap. Just to share one factoid, I came to know Martin as an avid patron, and then I spent 4 years on the symphony board, so I got to know him even better and appreciate his leadership. One of the things we should recognize is we're a small community, 250,000 people living in Southern Oregon. We have one of the best orchestras in the country. On an 8-point scale, point eight is the Chicago Phil, LA Phil, New York Phil. Under Martin's leadership, we've gotten up to level 6. Just no small feat. All the other orchestras at our level have 1 million people in their population. We're a quarter of that. So kudos to you, Martin. We look forward to hearing from you.
Good afternoon. I'm so glad to be with you in this great club. Thank you for the opportunity. So, yeah, introductions. Paul Christie, our past president. It's just absolutely delightful to have a friend like this. There's another past president in the club, but he's currently skiing at Breckenridge, and that's Paul Smith. And then there's I don't see any former or present board members, but I see a few patrons. Would you please raise your hand if you've been to the symphony? Okay, that's fabulous. That's encouraging. For the rest of you, I will be talking about education today. But I would actually be amiss. This weekend, the symphony is presenting a Valentine's Day's concert with 2 phenomenal singers, very palatable programs. And I just can't imagine that your wife, husband/partner would think that was a bad taste if you got tickets for that. That's a classy way, and it's only $1,000 a ticket. And that's a joke. It's very accessible. In fact, Friday night in Ashland is sold out, so don't worry about that. Even though it's an Olympics opening night, Saturday at 3 at the Criterion, we still have some tickets left. If you are not a Super Bowl fan, you can score a special. I think it's 2 tickets for the price of 1 in Grants Pass Sunday at 3. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So who is Rogue Valley Symphony? And where should I point this thing in order to... Okay, thank you. Introduction. So we've been around since 1960s. And as Paul said, this is my 16th year. Basically, there's 2 wings to our operations: live performances, concerts, and education. I am very proud to say that in my 16-year-old tenure, we quadrupled the budget. When I came here, it was 450,000. Now it's between 1.8 to 1.9 million, which I think is in the performing arts world, it's something to be proud of. So, and a lot of that has to do, there are a lot of changes that happen. This group is rooted in the community, and it's here for the community. But these days, half of the musicians come from outside of the area. A lot of them come from Eugene and the Bay Area, but we have musicians coming all the way from Portland to LA and all the neighboring states. So in order to increase the quality, this is sort of a natural process that's been happening at the symphony. So education, we have 3 programs. 2 of them are homegrown. So let me tell you a little bit about the music mentors. Think of it as private lessons for kids that cannot afford private lessons. So we work with schools. Teachers identify talented and driven students, and we send our musicians and we provide one-on-one music lessons to them. Classical coaches. Again, this is something that's driven by the community. This is when the school director, the band director or an orchestra director needs help. Say there's a solo or ensemble, or there's an all-state going on, and they need to deal with. They need someone to work with just trumpets or just woodwinds. They reach out to the symphony. We send our professional player, and we help them to achieve their goals. The third program is called Link Up, and this one we adopted. It's was developed by Carnegie Hall, and Carnegie Hall sends these beautiful teaching materials. School adopt the curriculum. Students learn their music, and then at the culmination of the project every year, we gather together in a concert hall, and the entire symphony supports all these kids, and we sing and play together. So it's beautiful, a very meaningful project. We have let me tell you actually a little more about these programs. Let's see if I remember what my next slide was. Maybe that would be good. Oh, here, I'm patting myself on the shoulder. We do have the most robust music program in the community. And why is it important? Why is music education important? I think you all know there's all these research that proves that music is not just a sort of self-fulfilling thing. It improves academic performance, teamwork. I say that music makes for better citizens. We're raising better citizens. They're really learning all these beautiful skills while playing music. State of the education in the Valley. It's a mixed bag, I have to tell you. So let's start with the not so good news. Maybe this will be 40% of students, Jackson, Josephine County, because the Symphony plays in both. That's why we are concerned with these. Qualify for Title I. There's a lot of music being eliminated in the Valley, and so we're trying to step up our efforts to help with this, to go against this in this tide. You may be surprised that the hardest, the community that suffers the most is Ashland. Ashland is in a very dire state. They're canceling their music programs left and right. There is a lot of hidden poverty in Ashland. 80% of kids in Ashland cannot afford private lessons. And so that is in Ashland, it's just a full-blown emergency as far as I'm concerned. Medford's doing comparatively quite well. The programs are engaged, all these programs I mentioned. And they would love to use more programs. If we had more funding, they would, especially the string program at the North Medford High, they would really want us to help even more. Central Point is also engaged with us. Grants Pass has the strongest programs, musical programs in the Valley. They are the only ones. The high school orchestra, the high school band are the only groups in the Valley that compete statewide. They can go toe-to-toe with the groups from Portland and Eugene. They're the only ones. And there's a lot of civic pride in Grants Pass, a lot of support by the citizens in Grants Pass for these programs. Eagle Point, we've been trying for years and years. We never hear back from them. So if you know someone from Eagle Point, tell us, hey, you can get all this great music education for free. We do actually serve Roseburg as well. We do some there. Our latest outreach is to rural schools. There's a lot of schools that are outside of these areas, and they really, really want us to help them. And so we're making headways there. It's hard because we have to pay our musicians to get there. It's a lot of cost, the mileage and the time spent on that. We are in Three Rivers School District. We are in North Valley, Hidden Valley. We like to add Illinois Valley. So we're really trying to service as big of an area as possible. Actually, do you guys know our radius of the impact the Symphony has, both in terms of our patronage and schools? 13,000 square miles. I don't know how many other orchestras in the country, you have to be in a remote West to be able to claim this, but this is really cool. And I'm not counting the occasional visitor from LA or Honolulu. I'm talking about, Roseburg, Eugene, all the coastal cities, Klamath Falls. That's all we service. All those. We get regular patrons from all those areas. So back to our state of education. Well, I think that's pretty much sums it up. I would just say during the pandemic, we had several teachers reporting to us that they had students who would only log in that day because there was music. So we're very proud of that too. Let me talk to you about LinkUp. This is such a great case of how good work brings fruit. So this program that I mentioned that schools adopt and then they perform with the symphony. We started doing it in 2013 when we learned that Phoenix Talent School District eliminated music at the elementary level. And so we stepped in and we taught music there for free. We paid for everything. They didn't even have $5 per student. They couldn't cover that. And we heard some naysayers saying, "Hey, they will never hire a music teacher because you're doing all of this." Well, that was wrong, because actually when conditions improved, economical conditions improved, they hired not one but two music teachers and told us, "You're not needed anymore." But that's okay. We're back there. So Link Up. We started in 2013 with those kids from Phoenix Talent. One performance, 700 students. Post-pandemic, zero. Everything. We thought, oh gosh, we don't know why, but this program just probably ran its course. Well, the schools just couldn't wrap their heads around all the chaos that they were dealing with. So then we saw an incredible rebound. We had 1,800 students in 23-24 season, had to do 3 performances. Then it just jumped to 3,100 students, 7 performances. This year, we were finally able to add Ashland, and we are now at 3,470 students that participate in these performances. Now, mind you, the board says this is important. We want to be there for all these kids, so do as much as you can. But doing one performance, just the cost of the orchestra is between $10,000 and $15,000. So times 7, that's the money we have to find to do these programs. So these days we have Phoenix Talent, we have 100% of Medford, 100% of Central Point District. All schools participate. Ashland finally participates. Eagle Point and White City do not. But we have rural schools, Rogue River, charter schools, Logos, Prospect, Sacred Heart Catholic School. So that's what it's for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, 3,470. And we added also Madrone Trail Charter School. So that's this persistent work that's been going on for years is really, really bearing fruit, and it's we're feeding the band programs and orchestral programs that usually start in 6th grade or a little later. We're preparing these kids to be able to participate in these activities. Cost for Link Up this year is $96,873, and our total cost for education this year, you see all those happy kids, or at least a happy conductor there, it's $173,000. Now, I know that you all are itching to ask, how can I help? So here we are. Yeah. But we really do. Again, there's a great need. We're trying to meet it, and any help is much, much appreciated. So let me just give you some numbers to think about. Musical mentors, that's the individual lessons. We have 50 students that go. Programs run for 10 months. $15,000 would make it 12-month worth of lessons. So you can think of it as each student costing us $1,500. There's, you could do scholarships for 5 students, 10 students. Students could be picked by somebody like a Rotary Club, talented Medfordians. Classical coaches, it's where we send our coaches, our musicians to help with band and orchestras. $50 per hour. So $1,000 supports a coach visiting one school twice per month for the entire year. You could see how the money would really help us make this even more impactful. And then, or there's other possibilities. Link Up costs us a little more than $10,000 per performance, but we would take the $10,000, or we could bring our orchestra to a school, also at the cost of $10,000. Here's some testimonials for you, just proving how meaningful these programs are. I want to give a special shout out. I should have done it in the beginning when I was calling upon Paul Christie, and that is to Patsy Smolin and Bob Weiss from KOBI. They're such fantastic partners to the symphony. Every time I need some extra publicity, something to push, I call Patsy, and within 24 hours, she sets me up either for an interview or the news goes out. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you. Yeah. So again, come to a concert. I'm going to take your questions in a second, but just know that we're trying to be really relevant to the community, and education is the best way how we can be helpful, and it's really for everyone, even those people who don't particularly care for whatever mystical reason for a classical orchestra performance. But do come check us out. We have lighter programs, we have heavier programs, but the music really lifts up your soul. It's for me, what I'm doing is kind of a spiritual endeavor. I really find that outlet in music, and so if you ever want your soul to get little wings, come to the symphony. All right, questions, please. Yes, Bob.
Do you help provide instruments to students that can't afford them?
We have not been asked recently, but after the Almeida fire, we organized a drive, and we got many hundreds, maybe 1,000 instruments for kids that they were able to go back to playing because of our drive. Thanks for the question. Yes, Bob? Oh, sorry. We can go and start. Okay. Ladies first. Yeah.
Has there been any correlation to the students that are receiving your attention with music and their academics?
Yes, we hear that from schools. We hear that from teachers. That's exactly what they see. They see